up against Warlock in the first game.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that too. All right, well, players I think are almost set. Oh, it looks like they okay, they're good to go. So let's jump into the mulligans. All right, game number one, guys. Again, this is a best of seven series. Winner gets $100 plus they qualify for the season two finals, which will be coming up in a few weeks. And our winners are starting to line up pretty well. We'll take a look at just I guess where we are in the standings right after this game. But all right, Savjz starting out the Twilight Drake. Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
and
kind of
he has
nice.
that
Not,
follow-up to the Drake as well.
yeah.
Um, with that turn 5 Belcher, and it protects it very well because even if you do silence the Drake, a lot of times the silence comes down right afterwards, and the Drake usually dies to whatever's placed earlier. But if you have the Belcher to kind of follow up, there are the cases where Druid can't kill it immediately, and maybe you can choose a little bit better value. So it just improves the mid game that much more, which might impact the board and prevent Druid from being able to combo earlier. And all of a sudden, the matchup starts tilting, and the percentages maybe back in Handlock's favor. But at the same
Look at
time, it
that.
really depends on how Darkwonyx starts here.
Look at that hand from Darkwonyx, man. He's got the coin, he's got Innervate, he's got Power of the Wild. That's a pretty good looking combo that's coming up here.
Oh yeah, Violet Teacher with Power of the Wild combos. Now he uses it on turn 1, and he chooses not to kind of go for a big board swing immediately. And I think it's okay. There's no way Handlock can kind of address this early on unless I'm missing something. Unless they're like playing some weird cards like Corruption or something. Absolutely not. There's no way to deal with this early
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, corruption. That would be definitely a screwball there. But yeah, maybe like a silence or like an owl might alleviate some of the potential tokens that come out. But 3-5 this early, I mean, it's not much worse than a Yeti, and turn Yetis can win you the game. Turn one Yetis can win you the game a lot of times.
Heck yeah, especially if you follow it up with Power of the Wild and puts a 4/6 and a 2/2 on the board. There is a little bit of hesitation from Darkwonyx, though, because, again, you don't want to overextend too much. He also drew a second Violet Teacher, which might improve his board that much more. Also, the Power of the Wild sometimes is that key card to put things slightly out of range if you can kind of utilize it correctly. There's cards like Hellfire, Mortal Coil, and you might be able to prevent that if you keep it in your back pocket. It really depends on how fast he wants to play this, and he's kind of already committed to the Innervate play. So I would suggest I would kind of expect him to use the Power of the Wild here, and it'd be kind of baffling to him all of a
Yeah.
sudden put the brakes on after this kind of lightning fast start.
Yeah, and that's what he does. And he's got another Violet Teacher to follow this up. This is gonna be a really great start for him. So he's trying to dig for Hellfire, Shadow Flame, something that's gonna help him clear this board in the near future here. Oh man, he's not getting anything.
Well, he gets closer to the Twilight Drake and dropping it. He just doesn't want to drop too low. And you always have to be mindful of what if Druid just has Savage Roar? Do I die here? Turn 3, don't think that's the case, but it's definitely on the back of Savjz's mind. He's already at 15 health. Definitely not the position you want to be if you're staring at a board that's already halfway full with some durability with 5 health plus a Divine Shield.
Yeah, he does have 3 of his taunts though, so he can throw up a bunch of taunts here in the near future. Just hoping he doesn't have Keeper. Oh, he's got the combo
Oh my
now.
goodness.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be a
Goodness.
lot. Is this over?
Is this over?
I
Hold
know
on.
this might
He's got
be.
10 damage plus what he has on board. Wait, I think that's it. Oh my goodness.
my
Savage
God.
Roar top deck.
Was that turn 5?
That was a
Oh,
turn
that's-
4. These token Druids trouble if they didn't have answers to like those Molten Giants when they got low.
Yep. Oh, so it looks like Savjz is going to be running the Miracle Rogue now, and players are ready. So we're going to go into game number 2 here. So there's been some talk about Miracle Rogue, and especially Lotheb, and a lot of people originally thought, oh, Lotheb's going to really hurt Miracle Rogue and really weaken it, or this card seems to be specifically to be good against Miracle. But then a lot of people are running Lotheb in Miracle, and it seems to be really good. So what are your thoughts on Miracle Rogue right now?
You summed it up you summed it up perfectly, Chan, man.
crazy.
What doesn't kill Miracle Rogue makes it stronger. It's like the Saiyan race in Hearthstone. Honestly, like the Lothar was
crazy.
designed to defeat Miracle Rogue, or at least slow it down and injure it. But because you didn't kill it, Miracle says, well, it might slot into my deck just fine. And as a result, it comes back badder, stronger, and more dirtier than ever before. Because what happens with Lotheb is that you push him out, you control how your opponent reacts to it. You don't really lose that much damage, even if you shadow step it and put it back-to-back turns. And then on turn 6, you have enough mana to Van Cleave. So it's pretty nasty.
No, it's very nasty. It just helps set Miracle Rogue's late game even better, given that it's a bigger body than, say, like an Azure Drake, and has that limitation of no spells against it too, for the most part. But okay, so we're getting into this one, and pretty quick start here. We had an innervate turn, just an innervate Violet Teacher again, right? I believe from Darkwonyx there, but Savjz was able to handle it this time around with a backstab Eviscerate. So no turn 4 win here.
Yeah, he learned his lesson. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
He did have a Savage Word too, so could have been interesting.
Yeah, he had combo early, which is great if you're able to develop early against a rogue. Because a lot of times, as the druid player, if you get a quick start, sometimes in the back of your mind, you're just really hoping that you top deck piece of the combo to end it quicker. Say you have a druid the claw that's putting out damage. But what you do is sometimes you top deck like the Ancient of Lore and you're forced to play slower, and then rogue kind of gets back in the game. It only needs 1 or 2 turns to really set it up in their favor, and then you can't really win. So having the combo in early sometimes can work out in your benefit, but at the same time, because Darkwonyx hasn't been able to put out lots of damage, it might be a curse. Haha, no pun intended.
Well, here we go with the Savage Roar. We've been seeing a lot of early Savage Roar plays by a lot of the top players, just to, again, just try to keep control of the board here. And a lot of times the Druid won't have any plays, in these first few turns. So when you get the Harvest Golem down, it's nice to be able to remove, say, like an Edwin there. Edwin can be really, really annoying. Can really help Druid really get gain tempo there, and a lot of times not even look backs. So good play by Darkwonyx. He is very low in cards though. Oh, okay, there's a great draw there with the Ancient Allure, so that's gonna help out in a few turns here. Ancient Allure seems to always be in their hand when it comes to turn 7, man.
It feels that way, and at the same time, it's not always the most ideal because sometimes you don't really have the ability to play it. If you draw the cards, sure you have the 5/5 body, but then if Rogue saps it, you're most likely not going to be able to play it again. So Ancient of Lore sometimes is absolutely necessary if you need something like heals, but at the same time, it's not always the best case scenario that you're looking for.
Yeah. So Savjz still trying to dig for the Auctioneer. He hasn't quite gotten it yet, but the Azure Drake's going to help him at least continue to bridge. But really, really needs that. He's going to have a hard time. Well, he generally will have a hard time against a Druid without getting that Auctioneer at a reasonable time here. Darkwonyx's curve looks pretty good for the next few turns here.
Yeah, this is a scenario where the Ancient of Lore is actually excellent because you're able to go up on the card count. Your opponent has clearly shown that removal and all their spells are being used. This is what you want to do as Druid. You're staying at a high life. Rogue spending all of her cards. You're just really hoping the following turn isn't a Gadget Stand Conceal, unless you have something like Lotheb to immediately answer to it. So at this state, Darkwonyx will be feeling good, but he'll feel even better once he sees Savjz doesn't have a Gadget Stand to follow it up.
All right, Darkwonyx really is fretting about this turn. He's trying to decide between Violet Teacher and Druid the Claw here. And then on top of the Druid the Claw, whether to probably taunt or charge this. Rogues or Miracle Rogues having any kind of minions on the board, threatening any damage right now is always a concern. So let's see what he ends up doing. Is he going to taunt here, or is he just going to go ahead and... Oh, he's actually just going to pressure him here with the charge. Nice. Okay.
Ooh. All right. Well, Savjz does have a lot of spells to kind of deal with this Druid of the Claw. It's all about, again, drawing away for him to kind of stabilize, stop taking damage, and be able to start drawing towards the core parts of his deck, pushing out. The Farseer might become an MVP as well if he senses that if he senses his opponent has the combo.
What do you think about that? Do you like that charge there? Seemed like he was trying to maybe set up I don't know, potentially just drawing into the combo on turn 9 and winning at that point. Like drawing the cards here with the Ancient Allure and drawing into the combo. Pretty aggressive play there.
I think that's exactly what it was. And I think you bring up an excellent point that, what does it show to Savjz if you just charge you with the claw and just ignore the 3/3? It says, well, I have probably combo pieces, and now that he sees Ancient of Lore, he says, well, it's very likely that I might have it, and if you're not respectful of it and you're playing clear, then you're just going to die. And Savjz, that might make him a little more scared. He's shown these kind of play in the past. Darkwonyx, he may have it, he may not, but either way, you have to respond to it.
All right, looks like he's going to go with Violet Teacher, but he's not going to actually do the Power of the Wild. He's going to throw down the Creeper instead. Oh no, there's the power of the wild. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Just
he had
enough
two.
for
He
him
had
to
two. He was
go.
holding the other
Yeah.
one up, so that it's a little confusing. But now he has two Power of the Wilds, and you force your opponent to really have that Blade Flurry, or else
Yeah.
basically might die to just one Savage Roar. So Savjz again has to kind of clear. But the good news is he has the Auctioneer. He even has some spell
He's
power
got
on the
a
board, so
balance
maybe
too.
he can make some magic happen.
He's got Thanos too, so he can do a lot of damage actually, even without poison here.
Well, he has to
He's
draw
got-
something good off this preparation.
Oh, that's
Oh,
pretty
it's a
good.
deadly
That's
poison.
pretty good. Does he have enough
Ah,
mana?
the
Oh,
mana is so awkward now because you don't have the
oh.
weapon up. That's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah. All right, so he can
But,
still at
you
least
know,
remove most of I mean, a lot of these guys.
yeah,
Everything
it's still
but the
something.
Biosphere. Yeah.
And it's still a card. Ooh, a Farseer. Do you feel like you have to Shadow Step Gadget Sand here to draw cards?
Ooh, that's a good question here. He's
11
returned
cards
not
left.
11 cards left. I mean, he did use one of his Savage Roars, so he knows he doesn't have two chances at it in the last 11 cards. I think.
Well, he's gonna do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Ooh. That never feels good at this stage in the game when your opponent has a minion. It's very clear that they're the ones being the aggressor. They have board control, and you're not exactly drawing into your ways to end the game anytime soon. You just lost 6 damage. But there's a card, again, that can kind of pull Miracle Rogue back in, and that is Lotheb. You can kind of continue to stall out and make both of them to play combo if they have it. So if Savjz maybe draws into that with something like Gadget Sand that's a lot cheaper, maybe he can pull back into it. But I have to say, Darkwonyx is still looking pretty good.
all right, Darkwonyx continuing to go really aggressive here, and even with the Power of the Wild buff here, and he's going for the 10, going for the face. Got him down to 10 here, and he's just hoping at least Savjz doesn't have any kind of crazy combo here. Draws the other
Section
auctioneer. Actually,
Gadget
he just shadow stepped the auctioneer, right? So he should be in good shape. I mean, there shouldn't be any kind of lethal conditions for him to lose here. I don't believe. So these
For
would have enough
Darkwonyx, no, I don't think he can die
Yeah.
straight up from here because he just gave away
Yeah.
6 damage. And I like it. You know, there's just no respect for the spell power. A lot of people always kind of prioritize that. Don't give Rogue an ability to use clears with spell power and AoE, but we've seen that Savjz has used things like his Phantom Knives and Shivs and his Blade Flurry. So how is he supposed to deal with all this unless he has his Eviscerates, which he already used in the very beginning of the game with the backstab Eviscerate? Savjz is realizing that there's not
Yeah.
many ways he can pull out of this if his opponent has a combo. We know, of course, that he's going to survive, at least from what we see, if he can go for a board clear. But it's not going to be easy, and it's going to depend. It's going to need a little miracle here.
Yeah, absolutely. Got the gadgets in, so he can work some magic, but he's definitely fretting over this. You can tell just even with the reaction on his face right now. This is not an easy decision for him. But it looks like he's gonna. He's got to clear the board, right? I mean,
He can
I
leave the
don't know what
2/2
other-
token, but that's still not preferable. Oh man, Savjz is really agonizing, and he's running out of
Yeah.
time. Okay, he's got to go
Okay,
quickly.
he's gonna shot
You got to
it.
draw into like an Eviscerate as well. Deadly Poison's not going to do it. And he's running out of time, so Savjz is going to go
Oh, he
for a
is.
clear on with the minions
Oh,
and
no.
hopefully be able to take it out and survive. But we know that this is game over, and Darkwonyx
Yeah,
is
this
going
is-
to take out the Miracle Rogue.
Yep, Darkwonyx sitting there with at least the Force of Nature, and he's got lethal here, and Savjz's not happy about that. He can even say a few things to himself. Definitely not happy about it. that's-
Absolutely not. I mean, Darkwonyx's games have been pretty Definitely tell us Savjz was feeling a little nervous towards the end of the game too.
All right, so it looks like the players are ready. Going to go into game number 3, guys. And yeah, the creeper. That's one of the things that I was running when I was, just trying out the shaman after the first week. Seemed to work well, so I'm really surprised he doesn't have it in here. The egg, of course, is really, really great. All right, looks like he does have Lotheb. A little bit too early for Lotheb. I love throwing down Lotheb when you think that the druid's about to combo too.
Exactly.
So
Late game
disruptive, like I
Lotheb
said.
becomes pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
You force their entire turn to be used just for one spell if they can throw it out at all. So
Right.
the later you draw it, sometimes even the better.
All right, some pretty Well, the Black Knight traditionally is pretty good against Druid, but Darkwonyx didn't taunt a single Druid of the Claw last turn or last game, so we'll see if there will be any targets for that Black Knight
Oh
this game here.
man,
Do we have another
three
innervate?
innervates to start off the 3 games in this series. Now he
He
doesn't
is,
have Violate Teacher this time, but
yeah.
gosh, you're not gonna be happy if you're Savjz to see 3 innervates in a row.
Praying to that
Yep.
RNG god, man.
He's shaking his head. He's like, oh,
I know.
why? What did I do to deserve this?
Oh, and he's off to a pretty slow start. He doesn't have any of those typical turn one type of removals with the Rock Biter or the Lightning Bolt. Going to allow Darkwonyx to really establish his board even more. Gonna have to play that Feral Spirit now, I think.
Yeah,
Let's have
Feral
Earthshock.
Spirits, they're okay against this kind of board, but that's the whole purpose of it. They're sticky, they fight back. Wow,
Yeah.
Darkwonyx also draws this Power of the Wild. That also can be devastating because he can go for a board
Wow.
clear, and his opponent will be overloaded, and he won't even losing that much on the board whatsoever.
Yeah, then he has a decent follow-up too to this with a turn 4 if he want. I mean, with a 4 mana if he wants, right? So this is looking pretty rough for Savjz. He's going to be, yeah, like you said, he's going to be overloaded in the next turn. He did have Earthshock, which would have been a pretty good setup if Darkwonyx didn't have the Power of the Wild here. But unfortunately, he's going to lose this board, like you said, and I don't know, Savjz still kind of reeling. Earthshock will be
Well,
nice, though. I think we'll be able to remove
yeah.
one of these guys, yeah.
Removing the Haunted Creeper is at least nice. You're not really worried about
Yeah.
taking too much damage just from one minion, but if he had no response, like say he just had this Rock Biter, gosh, he would be feeling pretty desperate at that point because there's no sign of him being able to kind of answer immediately. With a Doom Hammer, he will be able to kind of respond to another low-cost minion. Say he drops like an Argent Squire.
Yeah.
So I think Savjz feels like that could have gotten much worse than it actually did.
Yeah, he's not in that bad shape, actually. I mean, 2 Keeper of the Grove is a big game hunter. That's not great. I mean, in fact, you might want to play the big game hunter.
Well, we know Savjz is going to be able to fully control the board and
Yeah.
swing it if that's the case. And all he has to do is just draw maybe one more form of removal for anything big like a Druid of the Claw, like a Hex. And then he's going to be sitting good. Savjz must be feeling really happy that BGH come out because now he doesn't have to worry about anything. After he just pays the overload cost, he will be able to kind of fight back.
Yeah, I'm
Huh.
still thinking about it though. I mean, it does suck that he'll be overloaded for the turn 6. Turn 6 is always such a great turn for a shaman with a fire elemental there. But I can't imagine what else he would do here. Maybe he's trying to get more value from his Lightning Storm?
Well, the thing about Lightning Storm is you don't have to take 6 damage. And do you want to go down to 19 against a Druid? Shaman doesn't have healing, and you might value your life that much more because it's shown that Darkwonyx has combo and he's playing super aggressively. Maybe you don't even really have an opportunity to use Doomhammer unless it's something that you have a board to build up already. Say you have like 4 totems, feral spirits, and like an Alakir. Well, then obviously Doomhammer can be great. And Savjz is going to play it super conservative. He says, I'm going to be loaded either way. I don't want to take 6 damage. Most likely, whatever comes out, I have to be whacking it anyways, and I'll be putting myself down to 15, maybe even lower. I don't want to kind of do this. So he's going to play it safe.
Yes.
But he's going to be
The
screwed
only-
in the next couple turns if he doesn't draw well.
Yeah, the only issue is he has like a completely empty turn here. Unless he draws something. Well, he did draw
nope,
something there,
that's
but
nothing.
he's not going to play it naked, yeah. Okay, well, see if it pays, see if it ends up working out for him here. And the double Keeper of the Grove back to back. Which isn't bad. It's actually it's a pretty good setup for him, given that he's got Power of the Wild here too. 2 3/5s on the board, looking pretty good for Darkwonyx right now.
Ooh, if Savjz drew something like Rock Biter, though, I would say that Darkwonyx would have been pretty behind because he's committed so many of his cards to do this, but he does have a lot of direct damage now with swipes. Now that the fact that he has Force of Nature, he can kind of just push for damage, use his removal, and then put Savjz once again in an awkward spot of forcing him to have removal, or else he's just going to run him over with damage.
He's got 20 damage right now, if you count all the spells he has in his hand plus the damage on the board. So he could really put. Yeah, he looks like he's gonna actually remove the ancient or the fire elemental here.
Hmm.
Smart play. Keyboard. And let's see what Savjz can actually. How can he respond here? He does have his Valkyr.
Yeah, I don't really like an alternative of using
Yeah.
Doomhammer with the Unbound. I mean, Alec here immediately picks up a little bit of value. You kind of put a delay on your opponent in case they have something like innervate combo on a fringe scenario. So I think it makes sense here. Plus, if you overload yourself now, you can't play Alec here next turn. And say if you absolutely need the taunt, you'd be
Right.
devastated if you did.
Okay, to hit or not to hit. That's all right. He's gonna go face.
Unfortunately, I think the right choice was to hit because now all of a sudden he doesn't get that free damage in, so that way Doomhammer can be an easy kill.
Yeah,
But I
agreed.
think conveniently, Darkwonyx hasn't drawn exactly something good either. Not to mention that Savjz didn't get to pick up immediate value with something like Black Knight, because if he hedges bets against it, then obviously this would only take 2 damage instead of 5. But either way, Darkwonyx has drawn a way to just straight up remove Alec here, so it's about how he wants to do it.
All right, it's gonna go ahead and use the swipe here, and he's got a lot of damage in the next 2 turns. He's got, I mean, he's got 2 draws for the Savage Roar to potentially end it right there, and even just the 12 from the Force of Nature is gonna put him within lethal range. So Savjz is going to have to get up some taunts.
That is a great draw.
Yeah, great
because
draw.
both keepers have come out, and now that he's able to put a Defender of Argus, he's not afraid of silence. He's used both of his swipes, so Spell Power Swipe is also out of the question. And if Darkwonyx can't push through sufficiently and end it soon, I might be favoring Savjz in upcoming turns, because he does have another Defender of Argus to set up
Yeah,
walls of
back-to-back
taunts.
taunts. Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully the egg comes up, he gets a Nerubian, he can taunt the Nerubian also.
Right.
It's gonna be so good here.
It's
All
going
right,
to
so
be a tight couple of turns for Savjz, but if he can kind of weather this storm, maybe he can bring a comeback. I mean, I would like him to just because I want the series to go on. It's 2-0, and it's
yeah.
not even been half an hour, Jan Man. I would like it to go a
It's,
little bit longer.
I expected this series to be a long series, actually, 'cause the way these two guys like to play. Not necessarily like the turns that like the time they take between turns, but just the
Yeah.
style that they play, right? But
Uh-huh.
no, this is going a lot differently. And I think that, again, I think Darkwonyx is going to play this token draw just to mix things up, and it's been working out great for him.
He's
Then again,
getting
every time if
so
you
much
innervate
detail,
turn one
isn't
a
he?
lot. Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, the innervates have been just blistering
Yeah.
fast, and it's thrown Savjz a big curveball. But even so, if this token druid doesn't even end up winning, I think Darkwonyx is okay with it. He's getting great intel. What is the shaman running? He'll probably see things like Doomhammer. He might even see something like Black Knight, and his future decks can make sure to play around Black
Yeah.
Knight because he knows his deck has it. So all this kind of information is helping Darkwonyx the longer the game goes.
He can still win this too. I mean, if he draws into the combo here, it could be just enough damage, just to really pressure Savjz out of this game. So we'll see. What Savjz draws? Pretty big draw here. Oh,
Nice.
nice. Okay, that's a good one.
He can pick up something really big here. I don't know exactly, maybe if he's able to hex and stabilize the board, but does the hex really make you feel that good? Maybe you have to kind of double taunt with Defender of Argus?
I think double taunting is probably going to be. You still can't
That's a
remove
nice
that guy.
draw too. Feral Spirits.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he's used both swipes now, right? So Feral's actually really good here.
Yeah.
Just the pure number of taunts, like getting, even if they're not super strong taunts, getting multiple taunts just without your opponent having any kind of spell that can remove the entire board is actually going to be more powerful a lot of times. And that's what he ends up doing. Got 3 taunts now, so even with Force of Nature, still not going to get
You're
through this.
absolutely correct, Chan Man. And one thing that's interesting to note is that another way you can kind of deal with it. Oh, Black Knight has been drawn from Darkwonyx, so we will be able to fight back a little bit on the board. But
Yeah.
Savjz still has Doomhammer, so if he draws like a Rock Biter, all of a
Yeah.
sudden, this game is over. So Darkwonyx is now on the ropes, and we were kind of saying if Shaman can stabilize in these late stages of the game, they have power turns of their own, which they can do some devastating damage back at their opponents. Oh, wait, hold on. Is that enough still?
Let's see. He's got 7, 10, 14. Yeah, he's got 14. He's overloaded too.
Ah, right, okay. So
So
he
he's
has
got-
14. He doesn't have enough damage to kind of push everything through. That's quite unfortunate. But maybe if he rolls spell power, he still can get a value lightning bolt. Oh, he gets it.
Nice. He
That
gets
is
it.
nice.
He can pop his Nerubian too now.
Now, tough decision time. Are you going to try to go for optimal damage, or are you going to try to play more defensive once again and use a Defender of Argus? I like this. I think it's more consistent.
Okay.
Don't give your opponent any opportunity to kind of win from a weird position. Just go for the full board clear.
Yeah.
You still have Doomhammer, and the same thing happens. If you pick up Rock Fighter, you win anyways. Love this play. And now Savjz passes it back to Darkwonyx, who thought maybe he could sneak a 3-0 lead to start things off. But with a Violet Teacher, that isn't going to be it. And I think we're looking at the last couple turns of the game here.
Yeah, absolutely. Savjz clawing his way back into this game and into this series. So really good to see. Darkwonyx had some, man, he had some punch there. I was really worried for Savjz there like a few turns ago. Can he finish it here?
Well,
oh, actually, he still can't quite finish it.
Yeah, he can't.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But he's still in firm control. He's basically seen two combos. There's no way for his opponent to just burst down out of nowhere anymore. He's also seen Power of the Wild swipes, and he's going to be top decking one. So even if he plays something like Ancient of Lore, he's matching it with his Manatide Totem. So Savjz is still in full control. There's really nothing his opponent can do. Lotheb is great, but Savjz has good damage on the board already. He's got ways to kind of continue to stabilize his board.
A 6 lightning bolt wouldn't be so bad either. A 6 mana. He doesn't have that many cards.
He might not even.
He's alright. It's alright. Yeah, it's like not a big deal. Oh, there's a Rock Fighter.
Oh well, that's kind of a big deal. The fact that Rock Fighter costs 6. Oh, Lotheb, you trolling, buddy.
Yeah, you definitely trolling. All right, so best 4-1.
He's got 11 damage right now. But the good thing is that he has a good chance of rolling a Taunt Totem, and that can also help him here, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, he gets it.
Nice. Okay.
So he's going to go ahead. So that allows him to feel comfortable popping if he wanted to. But I don't think he's... Nope, he's not going to even bother. Oh, there he is. No, he is not. Okay, so he's got the Nerubian now. Definitely got lethal next turn. And... is there anything that he could draw? I don't think so, right? There's nothing that you could possibly do 6 damage.
It's at 7 damage, which means he can't really end it unless he was able to pair it with something else. So Darkwonyx will end up dropping game 3. He took his headset off a little bit in disappointment, but I think he's
here and going to be going into game number 4, guys. Is the best of 7 series. And Savjz just clawing back into the series last game, and we do start with the reincarnate. Let's see if he actually keeps it. I have no idea whether he should keep it or not.
I think late game, its power is so strong with some of the cards you have. Like, say you have Cairn, you trade with an Azure Drake, you don't really have a healing totem, you just reincarnate, you have Cairn again. Why not, right? So those things are really powerful combos late game. Reincarnate late, as the game develops seems much better than early game. You're not really going to reincarnate anything this early.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's see. We'll probably be seeing a lot of totems or maybe even creepers. But neither of them have those cards. Ooh, okay, so Darkwonyx does have Baron already. So he's going to be and reincarnate. So he's going to be able to control. Hopefully he's going to be able to get to the point where he can control how he plays that and make some dreamlike scenarios here.
Looks like we have both POVs working now in terms of the switch.
Oh, nice, nice.
Which is nice. Yeah, you know, Darkwonyx has a lot of these tool cards, but again, it's going to be a pretty passive early game. Savjz has, again, one of the most important cards in Lightning Storms, and even Feral Spirits is a great way to follow up, especially if you're playing things like Manatide Totem right after it, and your opponent can't respond. You're going to force at least one card out of your opponent, maybe something like Lightning Bolt. And if you do, then all of a sudden you're winning the card advantage battle, which can also dictate it. Things like Azure Drakes and Manatide Totems can also swing the matchup heavily in the favor once Lightning Storms and all the removal has been fleshed out.
Yeah, those really excellent points there. Well, so Darkwonyx actually has a lot of the key removal cards that you need. You know, like Lightning Bolt there. He's got the Hex too, in case one of those bigger bodies get on the board like Fire Elemental. He'll be okay. Lots of very, very different actually. Both of these hands right now are quite different. Oh, he's got the Manatide Totems to beat, so won't have issues with with card draw potentially here.
Yeah, but Darkwonyx can't be feeling good. He just spent 2 cards essentially with Harvest Golem and his Lightning Bolt, and he hasn't even gotten rid of the Feral Spirits yet. So it's not exactly the most efficient start whatsoever. Playing something like Defender of Argus also feels bad because you're not really getting improved value in that respect. I wouldn't even be mad if he just threw down Baron Rivendare and just kind of tone out. I don't think Baron Rivendare is going to do too much. Death Rattles are also a little bit hard to get off in Shaman because they have Polymorph. They have Hex, and they also have Earthshock, so there's not always a chance of being able to execute Baron Rivendare the way you wanted to.
So he ends up getting a Taunt Totem, which I think ended up working out best for him there. He feels maybe a little bit better about playing the Flame Tongue, but unfortunately Savjz does have the Lightning Bolt and the Fire Elemental, so he can actually remove it. And that's a pretty key card that's a very key card for the Shaman class and or the Shaman in general to be able to get some cost efficiency from those totems. So pretty big hit there for Darkwonyx, just losing it for essentially removing a 2/1 Feral Spirit. That's not the greatest.
Okay, so Darkwonyx has the Hex, which seems like the obvious play. Is there something else? Because he hovered over Reincarnate, and I wonder if there was any kind of combo in that respect. Don't think so. Yeah, he kind of hovered over early. Hex just seemed like the easiest one answer. You don't really have anything else. There's no spell power Lightning Bolt Dream that you're able to execute.
Yeah, the Hex is usually saved for the Fire Elementals or maybe an Alkir a lot of times. I mean, Savjz, okay, so he's, Darkwonyx doesn't have a threatening board here, so Savjz has a lot of things he can do here. He can actually Black Knight too if you wanted. You save Black Knight for Alkir, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the Taunt Totem just really doesn't give you value. Sure, you're doing 2 damage, and it's a decent battle cry, but the board is not even that intimidating. You know your opponent plays Feral Spirits. Most likely they play some kind of big finisher as well. So Black Knight can pick up much better than that. It's a good board swing.
What to do?
One thing also important to note is that Defender of Argus often is difficult to pick up really good value, just because it's not always the case where you can get 2 targets. And so if you're able to do it early, maybe even bait out a Lightning Storm, and then if you're the one holding Lightning Storm in the end, it's sort of like a trump card that can completely finish the matchup if they have no way to answer to your board. So if you can kind of bait it out early because your opponent has no other responses, then you also drop Manatide Totem and you just secure the game. So I think Savjz was also trying to see if Darkwonyx would fall for something like that, or if he was forced to play something like that.
Okay, so Okay, so Darkwonyx just tapped the Hex twice, and then, I mean, he had the heal totem, so both totems were going to heal back up, but it's interesting. Okay, looks like the Manatide Totem's going to be coming out here.
Yeah, that seems like he's going to play Lightning Storm if he does. Oh, he's hovering over it. Okay, so I think he wants to do it first, because I was confused if, you kind of maybe want to see the RNG of it.
Yeah,
but at the same time, he gets a full board clear, which is nice. And if he forces any removal out of this Manatide Totem, then it's kind of what you expect. But if he doesn't, then all of a sudden you're in a huge lead.
Yeah, Manatide Totem, man, lasting 2 or 3 turns, he's usually a game loser for if you're the opponent. And thankfully for Darkwonyx, he does have the Lightning Bolt, so he'll be fine in that regard. Kind of egg too. He's kind of that's the thing with this having this Reincarnate and Baron Rivendare is that you have these cards that really require specific minions to be in your hand too, like a Karen or something that has a really cool death rattle, right? Oh,
I guess he's going for it. He's immediately going to summon a Rubian while placing another egg. Okay. So he is going to try to immediately put this to use. And Savjz is like, well, good for you, buddy. That's sick. You have 2 4/4s. It makes sense because Darkwonyx just saw a Lightning Storm played, so that there's very unlikely that he's able to follow it up. And Savjz is like, oh, man. That's pretty ridiculous that his opponent has a board this intimidating when it was just cleared the previous turn.
It's like, yeah, you draw 1 for the Manatide, but I just got like 2 cards basically by using that Lightning Bolt. That was sick.
That was nasty. How do you kind of respond to this all of a sudden? The board's so intimidating. Hmm. And Baron Rivendare has already kind of picked up its immediate value, but all of a sudden, what makes this also really ridiculous in the mirror is that you can't even follow up Lightning Storm with this unless you have something to deal with Baron Rivendare first. Otherwise, you're just going to pop another 2 eggs. So this is a kind of a headache of a situation for Savjz, and the more I think about it, the more this is just another reason why the mirror can be so swingy.
Yeah.
Not even with the Lightning Storms. It's just with Baron Rivendare now you can just build up the board like nothing ever happened.
God, he's gonna have to. I was gonna say, is he gonna have to hex Baron? No, I don't think he's not gonna.
He's already
Yeah,
served
he's
his
gonna,
purpose.
yeah, he's already served it.
He's the least really. Oh, is he really gonna try lightning bolt it? Okay.
gonna
I guess it
remove
makes
it,
sense
though.
because he doesn't want his opponent to have a rock biter. But man, then these Nerubian eggs are gonna run ship.
He's still got reincarnate though, so yeah, he's gonna have another one if he wants it. He might just wait for Karen or wait for Sylvanas. Oh man, I want to see Sylvanas reincarnate. That'd be some sick plays, Rodan.
It would be pretty nasty, but I think yet you still have to kind of note that Darkwonyx is down on cards. He can kind of capitalize right now on his temporary. A lot of tools at his disposal. Even something if he had rock biter with the Doom Hammer, he'd be able to kind of clean up a lot, and it's not that intimidating anymore.
Yeah,
So
he really needs Lightning Storm.
very
He needs
mindful
spell
of
power too.
advantage.
Yeah. If he could draw the Air Totem mixed with the Lightning Storm here, he could potentially clear a lot of this board, and then maybe even next turn, right? But unfortunately, this turn is going to be pretty rough for him. He's got both Flame Tongues. Can't really do much with them right now. That's a problem. He was hoping to establish the board with what he had last turn, but unfortunately, Darkwonyx was able to clear almost everything there.
Yeah, I think he wanted to use his Earth Shock with maybe something like Rock Biter and clean up a lot, but it's kind of tricky. Now he might have to just expend some of his other resources otherwise, get rid of the spell power, just kind of play along with what he has. And Darkwonyx has fought back for the board. Now, granted, again, things can kind of just swing, but now all of a sudden, Savjz has had to play really card inefficient, and this is where Darkwonyx can kind of climb back in because he's got like Azure Drake, he's got Fire Elemental, and that can help him win the value war.
Yeah. And Feral now too, so he can actually even fill the board quickly, even if Savjz is able to handle what's on the board right now. Yeah, Darkwonyx is looking pretty good here. Savjz is going to need, I mean, at the very least, the Lightning Storm to help out here.
I just realized like how important it was that Savjz had to use Hex on the Nerubian because that Nerubian was generated for free by Baron Rivendare and reincarnate when they put their hands together. So like that Hex basically just went down the drain for nothing.
Value, man, value.
Ooh, does this Fire Elemental do anything? You can kill that
definitely helps.
Nerubian, and the board has 7 damage right back, so that's nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Taunt it up too, but I think he's gonna go with a totem here. A taunt totem would be pretty good here. Oh, just missed it though.
Well, Darkwonyx, what does he have? He has another Azure Drake to kind of keep it up, and if he has any kind of removal, I think he already used his lightning bolts though. But if he had another one, he had an easy clear. See what he top decks.
Oh, oh, he got a lightning storm there.
So the Lightning Storm is great to have for the very reasons why we've been talking about it all game long. So Darkwonyx now has it. And it's good to know. He also has Feral Spirits to reloads too. You don't want to overextend too much into it. The Feral Spirits helps you build it back immediately.
Yeah.
How do you go about removing this?
Yeah, it's not the best value using it here. Feral Spirit, no, there's not enough room right now for Feral Spirit. Yeah, this is an interesting decision for him here.
I wonder.
So one thing that I've been kind of picking up when I cast with Admirable a lot is always about whether or not you have the opportunity to go for the face and force your opponent to react. But in Shaman Mirror, I feel like no such thing ever exists. It's all about board control. It doesn't matter if it has like 15 health or even 10 health really sometimes. If you have a big wall of Feral Spirits and taunts that they can't get past, and they don't really have like the burst with like Lava Burst or Lightning Bolts to finish the game. So what you're always kind of mindful is how you're able to trade efficiently. Are you using the right cards? And the Darkwonyx took his time, even though it was pretty obvious from our perspective that he only had to use Fire Elemental. These are the things he's kind of mulling over. What can he get away with? How can I be the most resourceful with my cards that I have in my hand?
Yeah, no, those are excellent points. No, I totally agree with you. When you're playing against a shaman a lot of times too, it's like as long as he doesn't have much on the board, you're gonna have you're gonna be in a really good situation. And when you're playing the mirror like this, I agree too. It's just like there's no reason to just really push for face and a lot of times and go, try to set up a really quick winning condition when the game can just turn around really quickly if your opponent just gets a little bit of an edge on you on the board. So Darkwonyx here just being, just having just that strong command of the board right now. Like there's no reason for him to really push for the damage now when he can just just do it late. Like he can just get a bunch of damage all at once at the end, right? So,
this is really important,
wow.
champ, man. He rolls high. That could be the difference maker. Oh, he does! Oh, no, that is a disaster. Oh,
that
man, Savjz realizes that stinks. Because now this Azure Drake gets in 4 extra damage, and it stays alive.
This is exactly what you were talking about, right? It's just like as long as you keep your opponent in this situation, you'll chip away at him 4 at a time, 5 at a time, but he'll die in like 5 or 6 turns instead of just trying to again push for the next couple turns here and maybe have a win.
Yeah, and this is where Feral Spirits start becoming really strong, assuming your opponent can't just immediately Lightning Storm it. So now Darkwonyx has to kind of weigh, should I throw this Feral Spirits out so that way things like my totems, and if I pick up like Flame Tongue, it picks up value, or do I let my totems die because I'm afraid of Lightning Storm?
Yeah, overcommitting is definitely a little scary here.
Talk about it, man. It's every man's life, not just in Hearthstone.
Oh man, we're gonna get into that now. Wow, commitment's cool, man. There's nothing wrong with commitment.
Well, says the man with an established family job and tired life kind of behind it. I'm kind of entering an age where I don't want anything to do with commitment.
Gotta go for it sometimes, man. Just got. All right, here we go. Rock Bladder. So he's gonna go remove this. Yeah, those environmental methods can get just ridiculous sometimes. I can't really blame him for doing that. Now, here's the question: do you play Feral Spirit or? Okay, yeah, he's gonna go with Feral Spirit here. What do you think of that versus the? You could have played the Harvest, which wouldn't have been nearly as an investment, right? Just because the Lightning Storm probably won't remove it completely.
I think he wanted to see if he rolled a Taunt Totem. If he had a Taunt Totem, I think he'd go with the Harvest. But I mean, this protects your Drake from just the Doomhammer immediately, and not to mention that Harvest Golem is also a good way to reload the board anyways because it's kind of sticky. So they're kind of versatile in that opinion, but I do like the Feral Spirits to immediately draw out the Doomhammer charges. Unfortunately for him, though, Savjz did have the Flame Tongue Totem to activate the egg, and now the board is looking pretty mighty fine for Savjz.
Yeah, and Savjz with the Doomhammer has been working wonders for him. He's been able to really get this board under control. That was, again, that's looking bad for him. And Darkwonyx gonna have to remove that Flame Tongue. It helps quite a bit, but there's still two big bodies here. And we were talking about Hex before, and a lot of times you want to save Hex for those really powerful minions, right, from your opponent. And hexing a Nerubian, hexing a Black Knight doesn't feel the greatest sometimes.
Definitely not when you know your opponent's running Alakir. And if he's holding Alakir as one of his last cards in his hand, or as the last card in his hand, and he has no response, he's going to lose completely the board. But I don't think you can blame him, because at this stage, if he just does nothing, he's also going to lose the board anyways. So he's going to go for the Hex immediately. So Savjz kind of gets this Blood Beneath Thanos, which is great for cycling, but it's still a little bit on the more passive side. At the same time, he's feeling pretty good. Doomhammer has gotten value. Darkwonyx has completely crumbled.
Yeah, the Doomhammer's been MVP right now for Savjz, and we're in a top decking situation. So this is actually great draw actually for Darkwonyx there.
Yeah, it allows him to kind of strike back immediately and kill off this Nerubian, which is super crucial. At the same time, though, he's giving up his way to. No, I think you have to use it, but He's
got it.
continuing to use the top of his deck, and this reincarnate is just sitting dead in his hand. That's the problem with having these situational, really cool niche cards that have impact when everything goes right. But reincarnate's been here for what, 6, 7 turns, and Darkwonyx has no use for it at the moment.
God, if he just drew Karen, it'd be pretty great for him right now if he could just draw Karen.
Definitely.
Okay, so he removes it, and all right, let's see what Savjz draws here. Okay, Unbound. That's gonna stick to the board. Most likely
Okay.
after he removes the Flame Tongue, like the Unbound's gonna be really great.
Sure.
Oh.
Alec here.
Here.
Okay. Now, I think he saw 2 hexes, so this means Savjz should feel extremely confident about playing it. The worst he can get is Black Knight, but he knows his opponent has cut a lot in order to make the reincarnate combos possible. So he's really gambling his opponent doesn't top deck an answer here. But it's not that big of a gamble if you think about it. Oh,
not.
you can draw a card from this reincarnate.
Well, actually,
Cool card, bro.
that's true.
It's like 2 mana, draw 1 card, and you're just like, oh, that's really useful, man. Congrats.
Oh wow, Rockbiter. Rockbiter's gonna be great. Either on the Alec here or the Doom Guardian.
Wow.
Oh, he hexes on this. Nice.
I mean, he's denying the draw. He also has Rockbiter, so he can set up for a way to kill, potentially, if he draws into any more damage, I think. He'll have, let's see, he has 12, 13,
Oh my god,
15,
imagine
17.
Frodan, imagine Sylvanas draw here.
Oh, man, he's still Alec here?
Oh.
I don't know. I don't think that would have been... That's 1 in 5 chance it happens. So if he needs to top deck 3 more damage, and that's the game.
Oh, it's... Nope, not quite.
Not quite, and you're still not exact. He has 2 damage, actually, short now. If you use the Alec here. So I think maybe he'd go for a control turn, kill off the Manatide. Or he's just going to put his opponent down at super low life. I'm fine with either.
Either actually works pretty well. I mean, he has no idea what's in that Shaman deck, so... Taking pretty safe route here. Does he know, has both Lightning Storms been used too?
No, only 1 Lightning Storm has been used. That's why you have to kill off this totem.
There you go. Yeah, the last swing.
Yep.
Alright, see what he gets.
Haunted Creeper, Nerubian Egg. Great synergy with things like Reincarnate if you want to fill up the board, but again, he's just losing control. And this is why it's all about the board development. Darkwonyx has no ability to kind of answer this whatsoever. And I think this series is going to get tied up, Chan, man.
Yeah, I think so too. And again, the Doomhammer was just that swing card that Savjz needed just to kill a lot of those small minions that Darkwonyx had. He only ever had like 1 decent body on the board with all those totems. So Doomhammer was able to remove all those. Gets a chance to at least use the reincarnate.
Nice.
And, reincarnates his opponent's minion there. All right, so Savjz tied. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's
But the players are
it's
ready.
super heavy control oriented when you have things like Faceless. You have things like the Black Knight and Karen. Those help swing the matchup a ton. Now Savjz has kind of evened it up. He can fight back. By no means is Shaman disfavored, I think, heavily against Paladin. I think it really pans out to how well you can play the control game. But Darkwonyx does scale better in the late game, so I do expect at some point Savjz to kind of take control and potentially just end it rather than playing the slow war of attrition, because Paladin excels at that. They got so much heal. Their hero power grinds you out. So at one point, Savjz has to learn to turn on the gas and be able to end the game.
I like the Black Knight hold by Savjz there. Paladin's not going to get off to a too crazy fast start, so he knows he's got time. He can actually wait on a high mana, high value card like a Black Knight, and this Paladin again, like Paladins like Kalinta's Paladin run a ton of taunts, right? But even Darkwonyx, he's got a good number of targets there with Belcher as well as Tyrion. So Black Knight should be getting some good value since he starts with it so early.
Yeah, and it might not even be just that. Some Paladins just run a taunt almost virtually on every mana curve in the mid-game. They have Senjin most often, but it seems like Darkwonyx has foregone that for Yetis instead to have a little bit more power. They run Belchers, they run Sunwalkers, they run Tyrion, so there's just plenty of Black Knight targets.
Yeah,
Yep.
Those are the type of Paladins I've run in the past, and it works well, man. It works really, really great. A lot of those taunts actually get a ton of value, especially like Sunwalker these days, and Belcher too, right? Belcher and Sunwalker get ton of value because you can't really it's very difficult to kill it with just a single minion or a single play. So really good. Belcher, in fact, I mean, would you? So a lot of people talk about Lothab, right? Just ever since you just have Nax cards and the 5. The Belcher for me has been one of the best cards too. I'm not sure what your opinion on in it is, but I run it in so many decks right now.
I completely agree. Darkwonyx, by the way, feels under no circumstance is BGH going to get value other than some crazy scenario where Savjz lets the Flame Tongue Totem hit something like his Fire Elemental. So playing it here makes total sense other than just toteming, or sorry, by hero powering passing. To kind of follow up on your point, I think Sludge Belcher is such a key card nowadays for control decks. Before in the past, you saw that there were no reliable 5-mana cost creatures because Darkwonyx, say he was running Azure Drake, that Azure Drake comes out, that elemental can trade into it, or even worse, maybe there's a way to kind of get another lightning bolt value and you lose the board. Sludge Belcher is sticky, it's effective, it baits out removal that people want to save for bigger minions, but yet at the same time, the 3 attack is a legitimate threat that you can't just ignore it.
I just love the fact that the stickiness, the token that it creates, can't be removed by hero power. Like nobody's hero power, so it's really nice that way. It really forces your opponent to have multiple minions on the board to be able to deal with it. But getting back to this game, looks like Savjz is going to be able to buff up this Drill Spirit, which is really nice. Protected too with the and you're kind of in that classic case of Shaman getting a chance to build the board, and then Paladin just trying to be very patient and trying to get as much value from their Consecrates, from their Pyros, their qualities. And we're going to see some good value here with the Pyro and Consecrate. Still being able to keep this equality too for bigger minions, just boards that are going to be much harder to deal with later.
Yeah, you have these 6 card combinations that allow you to tackle bait anything you want, which is Pyromancer, Consecration, and Equality. If you have something like Avenging Wrath, which used to be a staple card, but now every Paladin's kind of mixed and matched in opinions. The Avenging Wrath can also do clear, but against Shaman, if they have like 6 targets, you have to have Equality kind of piece it together sometimes, otherwise you're not going to get a good clear. But with that, you can kind of be able to control the state of the board every single time. And then behind what you're building in response, because it is cheap to use an Equality, you place down a big minion afterwards, and you kind of impose on the board. Darkwonyx is playing this very slow, not overusing his True Silver, realizing the Thanos is completely frivolous at this point, and is going to pass. So I like the choice, and he's playing it very well.
Yep, I like it too. And yeah, I mean the Lightning Storm. So what if he gets another damage on the Lightning Storm, or even a Lightning Bolt? Right, it still doesn't deal with any one of these minions any better. So it looks like he's going to get, again, he's going to get value from that Black Knight. He's been holding it the entire time. Killing a Belcher, of course you're going to kill that 3/5, but it doesn't feel as good as killing like a Sunwalker, and that's why again Belcher is just so good, even when comparing it to Sunwalker, right? You can actually make it even.
We made that comparison last week where Belcher is kind of like the Sunwalker, but instead of paying with his Divine Shield before you trade, you pay with it after, and that makes it better against Black Knight. That makes it better against AoE removal like Blade Flurry, even Equality in something like a mirror match. And this doesn't feel that great. He had to use 2 cards to remove, 1.5 cards because you're using half the Battle Cry. But what's more important is the Black Knight is a body, and hopefully you can get a board clear. Maybe if they don't have anything else, you have things that kind of build it up, and Fire Elemental seems like a good response.
And this is the great. I mean, this is pretty much what you want when you're a Paladin too. Have your one dude on the board with your True Silver, and you're removing one of those mid-range targets like a Yeti and a Black Knight here. So Darkwonyx ending up pretty well here. Doesn't have much of a follow-up. He has mostly removal in his hand right now, but he does have a lay hand, so this is gonna be perfect for him to draw a bunch of cards and see what he gets here. Okay, he got a Sylvanas. Got 2 ghouls now, which I guess in tandem could be pretty good to clear a lot of a Shaman's board too.
Darkwonyx also has the True Silver Champion to immediately answer the Mana Tide. I think if the Mana Tide went unchecked, this could have been a pretty bad situation for Darkwonyx because, again, you're fighting a control game. You don't want to kind of run out of card advantage. And if Shaman draws into optimal removal, say they have Hex for your Cairn and they don't have to Earthshock it, then all of a sudden you're fighting an uphill battle where they're able to pick the value game.
All right, so Lothep is going to be pretty well. Lothep could be disruptive here at some point. Darkwonyx does have the pyro quality, which will still, you'll still be able to pull that off even with Lothep on the board. So it might not be too bad for him. He also has the Black Knight too, and Savjz having Alkir. This could be crazy value for Darkwonyx coming up in the next couple turns.
That's as good as it gets, right?
Yeah,
Everyone says,
yeah.
maybe you can Black Knight Alakir, and you kind of like laugh about a scenario where that actually happens, but maybe it does happen. By the way, so clutch that Savjz has a way. He rolled one of the 2 totems that he needed because it puts it out of the range of True Silver to immediately touch it. Otherwise, if it wasn't, if it was a Searing Totem or the Air Totem, then the True Silver picks up, again, good value. Killing Manatite Totem and a Fire Elemental would have been huge for Darkwonyx.
All right, Darkwonyx trying to decide. It's not going to be, if he wants to get to that Fire Elemental, he's going to have to give up some kind of value here, whether it's in the form of Arcane Miss, just the missiles, the Benching Wrath, or I don't think, he doesn't want a Black Knight at 0-1, that's for sure. All right, he's going to go with the Ghoul instead here.
Sylvanas makes sense. You're expecting it to get hexed, but at least maybe that's his 1 hex. Hopefully his 2nd hex is at the bottom of the deck, and if you draw into Tyrion, you have a way to deal with it immediately. But it's not exactly that clean cut, once again, for Savjz. The nice thing is that he can kind of use his Defender of Argus if he wants to put it slightly out of range, and then be able to not worry about BGH. But now, how do you kind of address the board without extending yourself into True Silver Champion?
Yeah, he might. Trying to see if there is anything he can do. He might just have to concede it and then just, develop another minion instead. After he hexes.
Well,
of course you have to hex that guy.
He does have Earthshock at his disposal, but again, how much do you want to be playing for that? If the Undead Ghoul draws an Earthshock, then it's completely worth it already.
Okay, so you'll put him another taunt. All right. Heal Totem would have been nice there.
Heal Totem would have been excellent, but I think he's okay having these 2 taunts, assuming his opponent doesn't have Consecration #2, and that would be pretty backbreaking to have his board reset like that.
Yeah. Where them heal totems? Exactly. So actually, Avenging Wrath is going to be pretty good here. Whenever I cast Avenging Wrath on boards like this, it seems to always hit the minions. Like, very rarely does it hit the heroes very much. Oh, well, actually, it's getting it. Oh, actually, he hit the hero a little too much there. Leaves 2 minions, but at least he kills the Fire Elemental.
Yeah, that could have gotten much worse for Savjz, but it's still, he's going to waste the True Silver Champion value. The Fire Elemental's already kind of picked up some minion value in itself. The Healing Totem finally makes a cameo.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up from Savjz.
Better late than never, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay, he's just gonna be able to develop this board some. Darkwonyx, still has the True Silver to help out with this. But one thing to note too, guys, is that he does have equality and he has the Pyro. But if for some reason he decides to use the equality, I was thinking maybe if the minions were still at 1 health, he might use the Pyromancer with a Holy Light or something like that and clear, and that'd only leave the Consecrate left for the quality. So he might just have to save the Pyromancer for the quality, just the remainder of the game, or at least until he draws that Consecrate. So something to maybe take note of here. And so what did he play in here? He picked up the Black Knight. Okay.
Ooh.
Wow,
Your opponent's playing Alakir.
Yeah, he's playing Alakir.
Man.
Oh man, he's
and Savjz is going to be so happy about that because he says, well, Black Knight cleared. Now I just have to worry about something like equality. But that's definitely one hurdle that's been overcome. Yeah. You can't blame Darkwonyx either because he wants to have a way to kind of answer the board immediately. This Acolyte is one of his keys to get drawn, but that's where things like the Earthshock, saving it and being patient with it has paid off in spades for Savjz.
Well, you can make you can make an argument that Darkwonyx is holding Pyro and Equality too. So you can actually...
my god, if this Air Totem. Oh, okay. If that was the air totem, that was game changing. To be able to
would've
like
been-
pick up value the way it is with Earth Shock and the Lightning Bolt, but
Yeah.
you kind of pass it up. And also, you still actually now that I think about it, it makes sense. He still has things like Tyrion. You don't want to overextend into it, so
Well, yeah,
actually, I
I
don't
mean,
think
so-
you can play Earth Shock at all.
yeah, my whole thing, with the Black Knight play there is like I feel like Darkwonyx could have been even more patient because he has the pyro equality. Like he can just wait for a long time. He's got a good number of heal in his deck too. He's already used the lay hands, but he still has Holy Light in his hand. He still has Guardian in his deck, so he can take some of this damage and just wait and get like max value from pyro, even if he doesn't have anything, any kind of board presence, right? So I don't know. I'm hoping that I know that Black Knight might actually Valkyrie that the Valkyrie might make that play really he might be haunted by that play. That's kind of what I'm trying to say here. Okay, so it looks like
I think that's a
another
valid criticism that might pop up in the near future, especially
Yeah.
considering this Earth Shock is going to be disgustingly good. But
Yeah.
now, what happens if he plays Tyrion afterwards? What happens if he plays Tyrion? I think Savjz is kind of weighing, is it better just to kind of use my cards, have an answer for Tyrion? And I think the answer is always yes. Because if
Yeah, I think
Tyrion
so.
comes out and he bullies the board, then you're in trouble. But how tempting is this? My gosh.
Oh, come on.
Two health, a Cairn, and you have the other
That's
shock.
discipline right there, man. I think I would have first shocked there. Might have been a bad play, but oh man, that's so tempting. But Savjz holds it, and again, he's going to save it for Tyrion. Obviously, I mean, I don't think there's
What?
anything else he would be saving it for, right?
This is why Savjz is such a
Oh,
sick.
look at that! Exactly. That's why he's such a good player.
Yeah. I mean, Darkwonyx, of course, is a great control paladin. He's been playing it pretty well. I think you're completely right. Where he could have been a little bit more patient with Black Knight because he scouted Alec here. But it makes sense. You're fighting back for the board. You're using pyro quality if you have to, but even best case scenario, you use your totems to seize back control, as opposed to letting your opponent be able to dictate and reacting. But now Savjz has the answer, and he's going to be able to whack away. He's at a comfortable health life. His opponent used Avenging Wrath. There's no way for him to burst. And all of a sudden, now Savjz can set up a way to kill his opponent before he's able to set up his late game.
Darkwonyx still has an answer to Alkir though. He has a Spellbreaker now too. He could actually just use the Pyromancer completely, right, with Holy Light and with Equality and clear. So this could go on for some more time. This could go on to Fatigue here. This matchup here. We'll see.
Oh, I hope
and
you
I
didn't
think
jinx it, champ, man, because I love fatigue games. They're so interesting
Yeah.
to watch, especially with
it's-
healing involved.
It's kind of looking like it, unless Savjz can get a ton of damage with his Doomhammer here, like with some Rock Biter draws or something like that. Just some bursty damage here.
How
But
about this?
yeah, this is pretty good too.
It's big. And an Unbound. Okay. And now
Okay.
he can clear. But how much does he want to extend into the board before Equality Consecrate? Yeah,
Yeah.
so Savjz, again, showing restraint, and that's why this guy is pretty good at Hearthstone. He's able to
That's
really
pretty
read and
good.
calculate turns in advance, making sure that he's not going to overextend.
Okay, that's not a bad draw too. Like an Aldor here is perfect, especially after you silence the Flame Tongue. Just reducing the amount of damage. You still got heal too, so he can last for quite a bit of time, even with the Doomhammer up. Oh man, another huge threat with the Fire Elemental. Just shot after shot from Savjz right now.
The top deck battles are real. This is what Shaman has aimed for the entire game, and Savjz has it. He's going to just bait out a removal from his opponent eventually. And what happens is, even if so, he's eventually going to gain lead on the board with totems once again. So that way, Darkwonyx can never get his flood of Silverhand recruits. So that way, he dictates the trades and is able to fight back. So Savjz has been posturing himself for this entire time. He's happy to finally see the equality. Okay, but that's why he's got things like Lotheb and Unbound to continue to push out the board. If he draws in something like Feral Spirits, he's even that much more happier.
Yeah, and so Darkwing still has the Faceless though, so he can Faceless in
Oh my
reaction
God.
to something on the board. Oh wow! Oh my
Feral
gosh!
Spirits is so clutch right here.
Yeah, again, just bullet after bullet from Savjz right now,
That is this.
and that's
like,
it.
people
I mean,
kind of
Darkwing has
understand.
nothing. Yeah.
They're gonna. I just want to kind of make this point, Jim, and I'll let you continue on. It's just that people kind of make fun of like Admirable for saying things like that's a huge draw, but that is so important because of
huge.
how he's able to control back. Like
Yeah.
at this stage, again, you know, Darkwonyx actually gets a good draw too with the Guardian of Kings, but the stall that you get with the Feral Spirits when your opponent can't respond immediately is so important. Now he also has another interesting choice where he can kind of continue to develop the board with Alec here and pressure and just get some good removals, and I think that's a good option too because he's already used Black Knight and Equality, and Savjz can continue to take back the board.
Yeah, and Savjz, you know, a lot of people are thinking, man, Savjz is about to die. Like, he's really close to, he's down to 9 health. But the thing about this Paladin deck is it has no burst. It has no burst ability at all. So it's, I mean, the closest thing that you get from burst is Avenging Wrath, and he's already used it. And, you know, right now you can just play this really standard board control type of game, get those taunts up,
How
and
about a
Paladin.
Faceless?
Yeah. Oh, actually, Faceless to the Valkyrie. Okay, this.
Yeah,
Actually,
that
this is
Faceless is going to
good.
be so... That's why it's in here. The Faceless helps you
Yeah.
win the control matchup. But I think this is the last of Darkwonyx's threats. So, if Savjz gets something like Lightning Storm,
Does he have
this
enough?
game is completely over, in my
This is
opinion.
getting close.
Unless
This is actually getting
Darkwonyx
close.
has to pick something else.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's well. He can use it on the. He
man.
can use it on the totem.
Yeah. But, like, you know, he's giving up his board now. Actually, you know, interestingly enough, maybe that Acolyte, as much as it gives draws, might also play the fatigue
I
game.
was gonna, I was gonna say how many cards does he have left? Oh, he needs a taunt totem really badly here. Okay.
The taunt totem is really important, I guess, for the Acolyte. He gets the steering totem, which is actually the worst possible answer, too.
Belcher. Wow, Belcher's pretty good too.
Belcher will die to the Lotheb and the last of the Doomhammer, but we're getting to that point where it might be fatigue. Oh, I forgot about Consecration. That's also an important card, too. Because if Savjz is careless, maybe Consecration can just get to the fatigue point, and he just dies to fatigue plus Consecration for that extra damage and board clear.
Oh man, this is getting real close. Oh, okay, another Nerubian. So Consecration could be really bad for Darkwonyx. Or Darkwonyx is going to be very wary about playing Consecrate at this point. Do you kill the
Oh man,
Lotheb?
Savjz might run out of time. Like, he might not be able to kill his opponent. Equality draw
Oh, he has
is
another
also
Equality.
good for insurance. Like, Darkwonyx
Oh.
doesn't need equality, but now that's his trump card, and Savjz may have just run out of threats. Darkwonyx might have weathered the storm because I was kind of caught up in the fact that Savjz finally won the board, but he doesn't have any more damage.
Well, here's the thing, like the equality. I mean, he can remove I guess both minions with the equality, but I wish I knew how many cards they had left. It's hard to say.
I think it's 2 cards each. Well,
Oh, 2
Savjz is
cards
now
each,
at the
okay.
second last card. Oh, an Earthshock. I don't know if you even want that. I don't know if you want to silence his Acolyte.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
he wants Taunt Totem? Mm-mm.
He needs the taunt totem so badly there. Okay, so actually, it looks like Darkwonyx is going to end up taking this.
Hold on.
Let's see. Let's see.
Don't count your eggs
Oh,
just
no,
yet.
not yet. Oh,
Low tap means removal, like Hex off the top, is going to be increasingly difficult. But Consecration is a little bit hard with Nerubian Egg, so maybe you're just going to have to wait it out.
I think
But if Savjz gets the board clear, Darkwonyx has to let Fatigue win. Oh wait, Savjz has to win right here. You're absolutely correct.
Hex.
Oh man, Hex off the top. And with that, this means that there's no way for Savjz to win because he just simply ran out of time.
Yeah,
he might
just
have
ran
been
out.
able to kind of answer everything and eventually be able to do something with the Nerubian Eggs, but he has no way to activate it. He's been sitting dead for draws, and this is what Rubian Eggs, one of their weaknesses are. Sometimes your
Yeah.
opponent just ignores it, and they can't do anything.
That's it. What a game. What a game. Well, I mean, for given what Savjz knows, I mean, I think he's got a. I mean, he's got the Tauntaun, which is what he wanted, and he might just trade. I mean, he's gonna die in the next 2 turns, no matter what, right? So.
Right. So, like, if Savjz knows if Darkwonyx just passes for 2 turns, unless this was something crazy like Deathwing and his opponent had no way to respond to it, there is no possible way for him to win in 2 turns. And not to mention, Hex even slows him down. Hex is like, he can't even push through it. It's 5 damage going into the frog. It's a 0-5 taunt. It's better than Shield Bearer.
So crazy. He's just gonna he goes with the Consecrate. Semi BM move, but at the same time, it's exactly what he needs. All right, so double Nerubian, and it's gonna be game over here. Wow, what a game, man! Good stuff. Complete
You brought it
opposite
up
of.
that it might go to before I was able to drop it.
Ah,
So
shoot.
that was disappointing. The biggest tease of my life.
Yeah. Okay, well, it looks like the players are ready, so we're just kind of waiting to go into mulligan mode here.
I will fight with honor.
Good stuff. It's great to see Pally again. Like, I feel like Paladin's gotten a lot more popular recently. Obviously, Kalinto having that success he had with his, and even just recently, I think people are starting to realize the Paladin classes, or the power of the Paladin class is actually pretty good.
Yep. Yep. The primary reason is because now that their drops have become a lot more powerful with things like the Sludge Belcher, which you feel like wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it really is to be able to consistently put up walls. Not to mention how the game's kind of gone back to a minion-centric board presence,
Yeah.
and that would enables things like Consecration and Equality. Also, in some tournaments, you can ban. So if you ban Miracle Rogue, then why not play
that's a
Paladin,
good
which
point.
is
Oh my
weakest-
god, that'd be
weakest-
great. Yeah, exactly. There's the web spinner. So here we go. We get the chance to see probably dude on web spinner here. Oh, okay. All right, so
Yeah, I
it's
like
kind of a
taking
tough
another
choice
tracking
this
here.
early. Yeah, kind of a tough choice this early. That's one of the bad things about having to play tracking so early is that the game hasn't really established itself, so your specific needs you're not sure about, so you end up just taking what's generally good. Oh, this is a tough one too. Oh my gosh.
This one's a classic struggle of, well, there's only one Leroy, but at the same time, Houndmaster is kind of like a build what you have on the board. Freezing Trap is not really an argument. You already have one Freezing Trap, so it's fine. But you lose that Leroy ability. But at the same time, how often are you able to get it past the Paladin, which has a flurry of taunts and heals? So the likelihood of you being able to get what you want anyways is pretty low to set up for a burst range.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's so much for burst as much as just for making the leash even better. A lot of times, 'cause I think when I have him on the show, right, I think we used Leroy to remove more than we did to actually, finish games, which is interesting. Oh, he doesn't trade with the dude. Darn it. That's actually good.
I mean, it
Good
seems
move.
very clear that the Paladin's going to be playing control. Let your opponent do it, and you get that extra few damage. Now, True Silver Champion is going to make that pretty much defunct.
Oh,
but
wow.
still, it's good, solid play from Savjz to recognize his opportunity to sneak in damage.
Yeah, Darkwonyx with both True Silvers. That's going to be really great for him. It's going to be able to just continue to remove minions like this, and not really give Houndmaster any type of target. But getting a River Croc off of a web spinner early, that's a nice follow up a lot of times.
It
Could be
is, and
worse.
it draws out this True Silver Champion, which is good. So that way, Savjz doesn't have to worry about other stuff like the Kodo combos with Outdoor Peacekeeper. So drawing out the True Silver Champions now is good. So that way, nothing gets neutered and he loses damage. Hunter wants to continue to build up the board presence, and now it's starting to ramp up really quickly in what the damage it can do with some of the cards it has in hand.
Yeah, so Aldor is going to be really great here. It's not a spell, so it doesn't actually take a hit from Lotheb. But, at the same time, he's not going to be able to do it to the Savannah High main. So it's... Ooh, kill command 2. 2 kill commands now. That's gives him a little bit of a burst if he can... at some point in the game.
Yeah, kill commands are often used as removal because of 5 health seems to be the magic number, at least in the current metagame. And it helps you get that extra reach that you can't really do otherwise. So Savjz, I think, is not going to use his opportunity to play the high main. He recognizes that as long as things like equality and stuff might be on the board early, you could lose extremely easily if you play your biggest threats. I mean, last game was a good demonstration. You lose your threats, you don't have any way to kind of end it up. You do have things like hero power with Hunter, but at the same time, Paladin just kind of heals up and plays their taunts, and you can't do anything.
All right, again, the True Silver's going to be doing some work. It's been already doing a lot of great work here. And okay, Savjz, a lot of really small minions, like not huge threats on the board here. Not usually how you like to play this type of hunter, but let's see. Doesn't have anything like, well, the spectrals aren't beasts anyways. But I've been seeing a lot more. I've been seeing not a lot more, but some hyenas on the ladder.
Wow, tough mana turn for
Wow.
Savjz.
Yeah, exactly.
This sucks. Oh my god.
Yeah, absolutely. Freezing trap seems to be the right play. I mean, you're not gonna get much
Yes.
value on that Karen. So double kill on the Karen feels pretty bad.
I think also it's so important to note that at a certain point, Savjz also wants to kind of keep using his hero power as much as possible. You see players like Firebat play mid-range Hunter,
Yeah.
and even in the mid games where it seems like some common drops are important, sometimes he foregoes that and goes a little bit lower on the curve, so that way he can squeeze in that extra 2 damage, because over the turns, it sets you up, so that way if you have an opportunity to use the burst, which is possible in a mid-range Hunter, especially if they're running Leroy, then you have the ability to finish the game. So if he's already gave up his Leroy, though, in tracking, which definitely stings, considering that some of the power turns with Savannah Hyman might be coming up soon. Also, something to note is that he doesn't want to lose these tokens because they are his way to kind of fend off the Paladin hero power, which also can trigger the freezing trap.
All right, so this is kind of a tough spot for, I mean, a tough decision for Darkwonyx because he knows it's a freezing trap, or at least he believes it is, and he's trying to figure out how do I get a guy on the board that will at least minimize the value of the freezing trap when he's just sitting there holding a bunch of 5 mana cards in above minion wise. So it's gonna be tough for him not to take a big, just one of these guys basically just taking the freezing trap.
Also important to note, now that Savannah Hyman has been played first, she will not steal one of the hyenas. Her
Yes.
Death Rattle will trigger first before those minions spawn off of the 6/5. So that way, Savjz feels more confident playing it. Before in the past, she absolutely would not take it in any situation whatsoever. But if she was played second, now she would be taking one of those hyenas. So don't fall into the same mistakes that some players do now that the change has been implemented.
Yeah, I mean, she'll still take one of the spectrals, but yeah, it's not. That's a good point, though. At least it's very clear now that what happens. All right, so it looks like Karen, I guess, is gonna. Well, I mean, one of them is gonna be 8, whichever one it is, and I think it'll probably be better serve for Karen. At least she gets something back with Sylvanas. And you can trade into the Savannah Hyman. You can actually trade the Karen into the Savannah Hyman here. Does he have Consecrate? He does have Consecrate, right? Yeah, so he doesn't feel bad about this play at all.
No, but at the same time, it's kind of nice to start building your own board. At a certain point, Paladin does want to start putting something on the board and being able to present. I mean, he's waiting for these Sludge Belchers for that right opportune time. He had the idea of playing Tyrion. I mean, this is solely a power play with the Pyromancer, saying, I don't need it at the moment. I'm just trying to get something on the board as soon as I can.
Right.
And here's another question. Do you keep hero powering if you're Savjz? Do you kind of wait for this animal companion and see how it pans out, or do you keep hero powering?
I think you keep hero powering. I think your point with, talking about Firebat, I think that's a really great point. The Paladin does have a lot of taunts. I mean, not a lot of taunts, a lot of heals, but if he doesn't draw into it, I mean, look at him. He's got 10 damage. He's got 10 damage with the wolf plus his hero power. He's got 12 damage actually from just the kill commands and his hero power. He might be able to sneak out a kill here, but okay, lay hands is gonna make that a little bit harder. But this is High Man's gonna stay.
Sure. You're completely right in that respect.
Yeah.
But I think Savjz is making the right call here. He has Unleash.
Yeah.
He has Timberwolf, so all he has to do is kind of pair together the Buzzard, and maybe
He's
he can
really
also continue
close.
to draw the cards.
If he actually gets Leok here, even
Ooh,
Huffer
Huffer
with
is
the,
pretty
the-
good.
with the
Let's see.
wolf. I mean, he's really close.
That's 8.
11.
Hero power is
Oh
10.
my
Kill
God.
command's 15. Plus Timberwolf's 13. Just got to pair your mana correctly, and also.
Yeah.
Dropping Timberwolf is your way to sneak in the kill commands in further turns as well.
You could just do the kill commands now. You could just
sure,
go
but what if you
full,
need it
full
as
out.
removal?
Yeah. I mean, he can get him down to 1 right now. Right? Am I not seeing that right? Is
Let's see.
11 plus 10, right? I mean,
See, he's at. Yeah, you're right. He can do 21 damage. You're absolutely correct.
yeah, you can get him down to 1. So, I mean, this is like
But I think
going
you keep
all
hero
in,
power.
but yeah, he's gonna hero
Yep.
power, but
No, it's really important to get that 2 damage in. It's kind of over the course of 2-3 turns, it's kind of worth the kill command anyways. So you kind of have playing with more in the deck. Now all of a sudden Darkwonyx has a pretty heavy hand. He likes to respond to things, but he doesn't exactly have the most. Oh, he does have a consecration. I didn't see it because it was in
Yeah.
tight box. I was
He
like,
has to
oh,
have
well,
a
I see
Holy
equality. See
If
Pyro.
he doesn't have a Holy Light here, I think he just loses.
Well,
Oh, wait,
Savjz
no,
still
he
needs
doesn't
a
have-
beast.
Oh, he still needs a
enabler right
buzzer.
here. Oh wait, he does have
Wait.
it.
Well,
He does have it, and he's able to
Okay, he
end the
does
game
have it. Okay,
immediately.
there we
And
go.
Savjz is
Yeah.
going to tie up the series, 3-3.
yeah. Anyways, that's a. He should have here about all those turns, like we were taught. Like you were saying.
Minion that just
Yeah.
fits in that mid range. I'm not sure how it synergizes with the rest of things, but maybe he can show me otherwise.
Okay. Well, the players are ready. Let's go into game number 7. This is the final game in this great matchup between Savjz and Darkwonyx. Warrior vs. Hunter. Here we go. Oh, there's definitely shot. We didn't get a chance to see that last game. That's going to be good for him too. So unstable ghouls. All right. Like I've gotten a chance to play a little bit of unstable ghouls in the Warriors, but you were saying that the Whirlwind is becoming more popular, just dropping one of them. I haven't gotten a chance to do that yet. Do you like the unstable ghouls a lot?
Oh yeah, what's not to like? It's a 2/3 minion
Yeah.
effectively. It synergizes with Acolyte and Armorsmith and executes even
Yeah.
Frothings if you're playing with them. It just completely shuts down some aggro paths, especially Hunter with things with a lot of 1 health, web spinners, stone tusk boars, buzzards, timberwolves, etc. It's a great
Those
card,
big
champion. I
beasts.
like it a lot.
Yeah, definitely good stuff. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So a pretty slow start from both here. Nobody getting those key the 2 minions. I mean, Taskmaster, you don't usually want to play by itself naked on the board.
Yeah, don't be fooled. Even though this will be kind of a slow start, and Darkwonyx thought about for a second if it's worth shield blocking, but I think keeping the shield block shield slam combination for the inevitable high main is super important. So Darkwonyx maintains that. There's no guarantee that you'll be able to keep your armor throughout the course of the mid game. They might have something like you don't even know if he's not playing Snapjaw or Animal Companion. That whittles you down. You don't have the opportunity to always just be expecting 5 armor to shield slam immediately.
Yeah. All right. So finally gets an Armorsmith, something to actually throw down there in these early turns. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he actually. Okay. Well, I was going to see if it'll be interesting to see if he Taskmasters that or not, but Trap might change his opinion on this. And Savjz kind of starting to go into his power turns here. Got 2 Savannah High Mains already. Nice.
Yeah, that's going to be gross. The
Yeah,
fact that there's
it's
going to
gonna
be
be
2
gross.
high mains on turns 5 and 6. Now, the good news for Darkwonyx is he does have armor. So there is ways to kind of answer it immediately, but still, there's going to be a lot of board presence. And the fact is he can't lose too much health early game. But I have to say Darkwonyx is in a really good, comfortable position.
All right, so Savjz actually has the bow too, which he didn't have last game. It'll be interesting to see how patient Darkwonyx is with this trap. Just to, if he doesn't set that trap off, he's just going to be freezing this bow for the most part. But putting pressure on now. He saved that boar. He tapped that boar in turn 1, but of course, never great to play a one health minion against the warrior who has a ton of ways to remove it. So let's see how Darkwonyx responds to this.
This is a great response, too, from Savjz, because he knows his opponent has 7 armor. So there's a strong likelihood your opponent has something like 1 shield slam. Tossing out the high min seems very irresponsible. Now that he sees 1 shield slam, though, I think that's going to make him real confident to go for back-to-back, especially since his opponent's armor has been shredded. So Darkwonyx will be kind of sad when he sees that this high main's out. However, he is coming up on a turn where he can drop Gorehowl in response and be able to maybe kill the first high main, so it won't be the worst thing in the world, but still, I think Savjz is in a really happy position.
Oh, okay, so there's Sylvanas. Pretty good draw against the high main here. We talked a little bit about it last turn.
If he had just a little bit of armor, he could shield slam and steal the high main, which is even better than just killing it immediately.
That would be that would be amazing play, actually. But that freezing trap has definitely been, a bit handcuffing for a bit of a handcuff for Darkwonyx, particularly this turn. It's like, all right, if I play this Sylvanas, I still don't really threaten the high main because it's just going to be sent back to my hand here. So he has to deal with it with a shield slam, which is obviously a good value play. But these minions are still pretty safe. outside of that one swing here.
Yeah, you know, Savjz was not happy to see the shield slam, but still, the idea was he felt comfortable dropping it. Now he knows 2 shield slams have been used.
Yeah.
His opponent's still not triggering the freezing trap, so he can't use the bow. It's a little bit annoying. But at least if he drops the second high main, he knows his opponent has no opportunity to shield slam. It has to be execute.
Okay, so Darkwonyx just taking care of the board with basically just spells and weapons here because he knows that freezing trap is looming, and he's been doing a good job of it. But he is running a little low in cards, so he's got way more cards than him right now, and that's one thing about the warrior. You know, he doesn't have the 2 drakes anymore in his deck, so he's not going to be able to have as much card draw unless he gets some acolytes here soon.
Yeah, Acolyte is a big changer. You gain the armor, you have the Cruel Taskmaster to also get 2 cards immediately with almost a 3rd guarantee, depending on how your opponents play it. And I think unless Darkwonyx is able to kind of pick up some way to immediately respond. Oh, well, he does have a Ragnaros. Huh, hold on.
Forget just swinging with minions, man. He's just gonna play from afar this whole game, and weapons.
It makes sense, you know? At the same time, how afraid of you are playing into Buzzard Unleash, into something like the Hunter's Mark, if your opponent just kills the 1/3, and then, you know, you don't have an ability to protect your Ragnaros anymore.
Yeah.
That's also going through Darkwonyx's mind.
Yeah, this is a tough decision because, I mean, it's not even that. I mean, your opponent could have Deadly Shot too, and he can set this. I mean, his board is clearly he can remove the Ghoul and remove the Armor Smith and even Deadly Shot you too. So there's multiple options for Savjz to potentially remove that rag. It's a tough decision for Darkwonyx here, and when will he set off that trap? That's really the question.
Well, that's the good thing. Rag never sets off this trap.
Yeah,
you can also control the board completely based off of that. And at that stage, next turn, if you play Rag and it gets the ideal hit, and you don't have to worry about it, then you can just kind of play behind this wall and never really attack. Now that you also have Gorehal. But he is taking the safer approach.
Yep, I like it.
You don't really have to YOLO Rag here. At least I don't feel like you have to. And so he's just going to kind of take it slow.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I mean, now you've gone through... Now Savjz has gone through 2 of his power cards, you know, with the Savannah High main. You can actually say it potentially his... I mean, that's like the majority of his damage potentially. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what else he has got left in this deck here.
Savjz now has an interesting turn as well. If you kind of attack and kill off this undead ghoul, look how much work it's doing. He can't just easily attack into it without killing off his own hyenas and giving his opponent armor, which is exactly what he doesn't want to do. Now, building it up also weakens you to a lot of things, and you don't want to use the charge directly, but he does. And you do lose those damage from the trap that you don't gain back, and I think he's only running 1 iteration of the trap. So this is a little bit of an annoyance for Savjz, because you want to be much more efficient than this.
Yeah. Okay, so fills the board here, and you know, at times, you know, one weakness to Warrior can be just, you know, flooding the board against them because, you know, Brawl is usually like the only way they can clear a board efficiently. But I guess with the Hunter, you know, most of these minions are pretty small, so Whirlwind would actually do pretty good here, especially after they've been weakened, right, by the Ghoul. But there's our first Spectral Knights actually in the hand. I don't know if it's a great time to play it here. Still got that trap. That trap is just really annoying for him right now. He's got no more spells.
You can drop double Cruel Taskmaster, kill off the 4/2, and then set up a Spectral Knight where you kill off the Houndmaster and it's the strongest minion on the board. You're still worried about Buzzard Unleashed, but at this stage, you just have to kind of do what you can to seize back the board. This is a losing game with Hunter where you're kind of cautious to play and build the board, and then they just kind of impose. But the good news is that the high mains are done with, so it's not like he has that many more power turns, other than unless he's running like Lotheb, and you have to worry about that as a big minion.
Yeah, he does have a Lotheb, but that's about it. Leroy and Lotheb, I think, are the only things left in his deck. A couple kill commands and a couple animal companions, but that might not be enough damage, just period, to take down a warrior with that continuous hero power and that sort of bit. Thankfully for Savjz, Darkwonyx hasn't been able to hero power that much in the recent turns.
Ooh.
Kill command, okay.
I wonder if he was playing around like a Leroy kill command finish, because 21 is deceptive. It feels like it's safe enough. Huh. As he gets a Stone Tusk Boar, yeah, really useful, bro. I guess so.
Exactly what he
Buzzard,
wanted.
if he had Buzzard, that would actually be a really nice draw, but
That's
unfortunately
true.
it's not.
That is true. Yeah, his Buzzard, I mean, yeah, his Buzzard draws haven't been that timely. He's had a lot of cards this whole time, though. He's been really patient with his plays here, but he's going to have to use this Unleash just to clear it here.
Unleash is fine. Warrior rarely drops a lot of minions. You're often not going to get big value out of it immediately. And it is a little bit more expensive than something like the Stone Tusk Boar, which almost draws you generally around the same cards, because that's going to lead into another beast that you can drop, and then you're able to draw cards off of it for around the same mana cost.
Okay, well, probably not a great time for... I'm thinking he's probably going to save Rag for... He has Alexstrasza in this deck? Let me see. He's probably... I could see him trying to save that until he gets like the max, 14 or whatever from Alexstrasza here. Let's see.
Do you have the time to wait for that? Look how thick the Warriors deck is, and with no enablers or immediately with something like Acolyte, Acolyte's still even like a slow draw. There's no way for him to immediately impact the board with it. And he's going to still be at the mercy of the next 2 or 3 cards. So Darkwonyx has to kind of pan it out where, what's the worst case scenario? If you play this Rag, you have no answer to ability to kind of flood back and just remove it really easily. And you get no value, especially if it hits the 1/8, right? Or no, he had to Gore House. So if he just does 8 damage in the face, that's not really worth it. But he's going to go for it anyways. And really hope for it, but Savjz just face pump because that's what he kind of wanted. This target is as good as it gets with Deadly Shot.
Yeah. And again, at the same time, this... Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, Deadly Shot's so cheap that he's going to be able to do this too.
Nice. These are great responses.
Oh,
Freezing
nice.
Trap is
Oh,
excellent
yeah,
against something like the Gromosh.
Wow, nice. No, he's got to save enough for Deadly Shot there. Ends up okay, removing it, and all of a sudden, Savjz looking in great shape here. Darkwonyx needs some type of board removal here, like a Whirlwind, but he draws an Acolyte.
Yeah, this is what I was saying. The Acolyte feels slow. You're gonna drop it. They might be able to respond to it. Acolyte can't even attack. Remember, there's still a Freezing Trap up that's live. So you're still kind of at the mercy of that. And he's going to kill off the Leok to prevent a lethal, but that's going to give Savjz the ability to draw potentially into lethal, depending on how these kind of turns play out.
All right, there's Hunter's Mark, but you can't cast Hunter's Mark on the Spectral or kill. Oh, kill command. Oh, is that it?
Wow.
Is that
Well,
it?
that was very anticlimactic for the Miracle Hunter turn. I was expecting big things.
Oh, yeah, that's
that
not quite
de-escalated very quickly.
18. Okay. Alright, so he ends up just removing it and pushing and setting up for lethal next turn here. 13. Yeah, with the explosive trap. Well, he's gonna armor up though. So if Darkwonyx can figure out a way to remove this entire board, which will be hard with the Spectral, with the creepers. Oh, another Acolyte.
Yeah, he was hoping for something like Brawl.
Brutal.
Brawl can immediately take out almost everything on the board, and your weapon can kind of start cleaning things up. He has a Fiery War Axe, which is very redundant with what he has, and the Acolyte, again, a little slow. If you had something like Whirlwind with it, maybe even a brand new game, because of how he's able to combine it, draw, and still have something on the board. Trigger Freezing Trap, maybe draw a card or 2 off of Explosive Trap. But now he's at the mercy, and I think this is game. I think Savjz has taken this series because he has double kill command, and if it wasn't enough, Leroy for the insurance. Show the top deck to infuriate your opponent. Oh no, he has too much respect for that. He's going to go for the overkill.
Yeah, of course. Wow. I mean, I'm not... How